Hello there everybody, so Butternut 2AK Nightmare. Welcome back to Umineko, the third episode in a row. Yeah. So Monday's episode is going to be Danganronpa. There's no difference. There's no changing that. But it might be up a little later in the day because editing is taking a little bit longer. I think I found a way to actually do this. Sadly, you're not going to be able to see my legitimate reactions to the trials. Or not the trial, goddammit. The execution. I don't have the best editing software, but I can basically give you a summary, like through pictures of what is going on during the trial. That's probably the best thing that I can come up with at the moment. I mean, like I said, we're going to try to avoid at all possible to get a copyright strike, so this is probably the only solution that I've got for this specific class trial. Again, Art50, thank you for freaking telling me this. And apparently, this is the only trial in the series that this is the only execution, apparently, that's done with the series. Apparently, Danganronpa 2 hasn't received any troubles like that, or issues. So, there's some good news there. So, I probably won't have to do that for Danganronpa 2 whenever I get started on that. Anyway, time for your third helping of Umineko. Let us pick up where we last left off. In the last episode, we had ourselves a bit of family venom. Not this time from Ava, but this time from Kraus. Well, let's see what happens next. It's a nice blue sea.
第10の晩に旅は終わり、黄金鏡に至るだろう。
Oh, he's talking about
しかしマリアは豆だな。ちゃんとメモしてるとは偉いぜ。
Maria wrote down the whole thing?
マリアは忘れっぽいからちゃんと書く。ママに言われたからちゃんと書く。
There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Oh. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure.
まず1行目。懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川か。
Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown.
じい様の故郷ってどこだっけ？
戦前の後ろ宮家は小田原のあたりに屋敷を構えてたって聞いたぜ。で、となりゃ、小田原に流れてる鮎の泳ぐ川に関心が行くわけだろ？
まずはその川が起点になるからな。んで、黄金鏡を目指す者は、そいつを下って鍵を探せとあるわけだ。小田原にある川ってなんだ？鮎が泳ぐ川だぜ。
小田原で鮎って言ったら、早川だろうね。渓流釣りで有名だよ。
マリア魚嫌
い。マリアももう少し大きくなったらわかるぜ。鮎の塩焼きをベロベロベロってな。うまいぜ。さっき飯食ったばっかりだってのに、もう腹が減ってきちまうぜ。
I like fish. Seafood's pretty good. Then again, there's a lot of people that don't like fish. Meh. That's okay. It's up to your tastes. Oh!
ビスケットでもお持ちしましょうか？
悪い悪い。そんなつもりで言ったんじゃないぜ。気にすんな。
Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that, since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on a conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally, the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull.
さて、小田原で鮎の川って言えば、早川だってことは分かった。となりゃ、下るしかねえよな。早川を下ると、 何があるんだろうな。
下流に出て、海に出ると思います。
そうさ。河口部に出る。そして、碑文の3行目には、川を下れば、やがて里ありとあるな。
As you travel down it, you will see a village.
ちなみに、そういう河口部は大抵、大昔から輸送の要衝になってて、大きな都市があるもんさ。ここが、次のチェックポイントだな。
That's a pretty good theory.
バトラ君の想像通り、そこは大昔にとても栄えたことだよ。小田原城があるところだね。
修学旅行で小田原城に行った気がします。素敵なお城でしたよ。
ああ、私も小田原城だったぜ。洋館に住んでてなんだが、やっぱり日本人は和風の方が落ち着くよな。
マリアお城退屈。遊園地がいい。
I guess. Actually, I prefer castles to be honest. Sorry, Maria.
そうかそうか。よしよし。黄金を見つけたら、このバトラ様が気前よく、遊園地を1日借り切って遊ばせてやるぜ。しかし、小田原城の隠し黄金。お？こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな。
まあ、2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。小田原で、鮎の泳ぐ川を下った里。そこが多分、小田原城あたりだろうってところまでは、私たち問題は次の行だろう。
Actually getting in Odawara Castle?
さて、バトラの鎮推理はどこまでいけるか見ものだぜ。
Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved the puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself.
4行目。
The fourth line.
その里にて、二人が口にし、岸を探れ。
I wonder who the two are.
二人ってのが何のことかわからねえが、とにかく岸だな。で、岸ってなんだよ。岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな。
What the hell? A shore or Kishi in its name?
蘇我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。
Okay, one of you guys were sort of told me that it would probably not be a good idea to write down the epitaph to try to figure out the riddle because you would have to. Oh crap! What'd you say? It had something to do with you guys said it would be better to try to solve it in Japanese. Here's the thing: I can't read Japanese.
おお、詳しいな。ってことはなんだよ。シャノンちゃんも黄金を狙って謎解きに挑戦してるんだな。となりゃ、俺たちはライバルだぜ。
別に黄金なんて興味は、ただ以前にジョージ様から教えてもらっただけで。
2年前の私たちも同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。
小田原城の北に5キロくらいだったかな。そこには確かに蘇我岸という地名があるよ。でもそこからがわからないんだ。次の5行目にはその土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。
Crap! What did the fifth line say?
マリアちゃん、読んでくれるかい？
Oh, we're getting ready to find out again. Okay.
そこに黄金鏡への鍵が眠る。
There sleeps the key to the golden land.
蘇我岸ったって広いだろうし、かつてそこに後ろ宮家の家があったわけでもない。その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されてて、ノーヒントってんじゃ。こいつは。
確かにな。鍵が手に入らないことには、その先の行に進めないぜ。ジョージ兄貴、蘇我岸ってのはどんなとこなんだ？
さあね。行ったことはないからわからないけど、地図によると山の中みたいだよ。確か 浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。
Mount Asama.
なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのは、もっとぴったりとハマるもんじゃねえのかよ。どうも、蘇我騎士ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。
私は蘇我騎士を疑ってるぜ。私たちが知らないだけで、例えば、じいさまの子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。一行目に、懐かしき故郷って行があるくらいだもんな。シャノンは、じいさまによく酒とか継がされてたろ？昔話とか聞かされたことないのか？
I doubt he would.
親方様は昔の話はほとんどされません。
Oh.
ただ、後宮家が滅びかけた関東大震災について、関東地方よりずっと遠方にお住まいだったかもしれません。
As though it was someone else's story.
後宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、分家はその限りじゃなかったろうね。おじいさまはよく自分のことを、分家も分家、後継ぎに最も縁遠かった、と言われるくらいだからね。
ってことはつまり、懐かしき故郷ってのが、すでに小田原じゃない可能性もあるってことだな。
じいさまの故郷なんて聞いたこともないぜ。聞いても素直に教えちゃくれねえだろうしよ。
懐かしき故郷というのが、後宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。もちろん、蘇我騎士の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども。例えば、幼少の頃を小田原で過ごし、その後、遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし。
I'm still trying to absorb a lot of this information, so I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet. I'm just trying to memorize certain details.
おお、さっきから何の話かわかんない。おお。
Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat, puffing out her cheeks in boredom.
つまりだな。黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには、何も始まらないってことだぜ。いや待てよ。最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ。鍵なんてなくても、扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ。とりあえず最初の5行をすっ飛ばして、その先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか？
その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どうせ暇つぶしなんだ。続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。
でも、その先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
It does get really dark, a lot of sacrificing and shit. Shannon-chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree.
第1の番に、鍵の選び師6人を生贄に捧げよう。いきなり物騒になるな。
第2の番には、寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。恋仲を破談させるのか。文字通り、引き裂くという意味なのか。わかりかねるけど、どっちにせよ、気持ちの悪い話だぜ。
その第2の番の解釈を別にしても、第1の番に6人。
Yeah.
第4の番から第8の番までで5人。少なく見積もっても、11人が生贄にされなきゃならない。
ベアトリーチェが蘇るための生贄。
なるほど。魔女復活のための生贄か。そういう解釈にもなるな。その結果、第9の番に魔女が蘇って、最後は極めつけだな。
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。結局は、みんな死んでしまいます。
それでようやく、次の第10の番にゴールってことになって、みんな死んじまうのに、黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても、困ったもんだぜ。
Well, did it not mention that Beatrice is supposed to revive everyone, apparently?
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も、生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね。
Oh.
しかしよ、最後のところには面白いことが書いてあるぜ。ゴールした後、魔女からもらえる4つの宝の行だよ。一つは全ての黄金。問題は次だ。全ての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
I guess. Or it could be referring to
そ
somebody
れを
else.
言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせる第二の晩の寄り添いし二人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
Yeah.
そうだね。そして4つ目も第9の晩にかけてある。第9の晩に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
好意的に解釈すりゃ、死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが、最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。目覚めた魔女も再び眠るし、手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
死んだり蘇らせたり、別れさせたりくっつかせたりと、魔女様はお忙しいこったな。
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
やれやれ。せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急にうさんくさくなっちまうぜ。
違いないな。
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry. Well, yeah.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも、生き返らせることも、愛を与えることも、奪うことも。空も飛べるし、姿を透明にできるし、黄金もパンも生み出せる。
She really believes in this witch, doesn't she?
いけね。悪い悪い。冗談だよ。
Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and, opening to some other pages, tried to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't the normal sinister image of a crooked-nosed hag flying around on a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Flitting through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. Ooh, that'd be awesome, I want that. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give richness to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream.
マリアちゃんにとっては、これは黄金の隠し場所を示すものじゃなくて、魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George Aniki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem to be willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon-chan timidly opened her mouth.
マリア様、ご存知ですか？私たち使用人の間では、ベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
Isn't this the story that Kumasawa was trying to tell us?
そうだったっけ？シャドン、聞かせてやれよ。私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
Maybe I'm thinking wrong.
何の話だ？怪談？
うん。僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしいね。母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
Really?
はい。
has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction.
当時の使用人たちは、お屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいると囁き合っていたそうです。
Two masters. The tale that Shannon told us was just a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか、消したはずの明かりがついていたり、つけたはずの明かりが消えていたり、置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり、置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり、そういうことがあるたびに古い使用人たちは魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていったのだろうと囁き合ったそうです。ほらいる。ベアトリーチェはいる。
I believe you, Maria. Don't worry about it.
ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh-ooh as though there was final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も。
Really?
カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言ってました。あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に不思議な足音をよく聞くと使用人の間で話題です。私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁く。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
ひゅー。そりゃ怖えな。
怯えることはないんですよ。ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。だから変に怯えたりしないで敬意を持っていれば決して悪いことはしないのだそうです。
I have the feeling with that line, if you respect her, I hear she won't do anything bad. I have this feeling Battler's gonna fuck up. Just a thought.
ただし、
Or somebody's gonna fuck up.
敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
はい。私が勤めを始める直前に階段を転がり落ちて腰にベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。
Wow.
だから使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと噂し合ったそうです。バトラとチェシカきっとお怒りに触れる。
That's a no.
わあ、悪かったぜ。お怒りに触れちゃたまらねえ。謝るよ、マリア。もちろん、魔女様にも謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ言と思って勘弁してやってください。
私も謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな？
わかんない。
I don't know why I have this odd feeling. This always seems to happen, like, in a lot of movies or stories where obviously the youngest child is capable of seeing or understanding these things. Why do I have this feeling that Maria can act as a, what's the word I'm looking for? Catalyst for Beatrice? I might be wrong. But maybe she's capable of actually speaking to Beatrice, maybe? Or she just, I don't know.
魔女は気まぐれだから 許してくれるときは許してくれるし、許さないときは許さない。
Okay, that's oddly specific for you to say. And add an ooh at the end.
それは困ったね。マリアちゃん、バトラ君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにするいいおまじないとかないかな。何か魔除けとかさ。
By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, she started flipping through the pages in her notebook. I thought it was just a scribbled diary, but there also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they'd come from a book on black magic. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages, which contained things that looked like magic circles. Apparently, Grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Is that a reference toward Never mind, I'm not gonna say it. Don't want to get copyright. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed metal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade? Yeah, I can imagine that. It really looked like something like that. There were two of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were two of them made them feel even more like cheap manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items.
これを私とバトラに？
このお守りならベアタリーチェも大丈夫。サソリは魔除けの力があるから。
そうなのか？サソリにそんな力がねえ。
バトラが信じない。
Come on, man. I'd said too much and angered Maria again. God damn it, Valor, what the hell? Maria took out her notebook again, pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that it had been used in magic-repelling magical circles since ancient times.
他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもあるんだとか。
へえ、そうなのか。
サソリは悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。
Really?
そしてエメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれる。
You know an awful lot, Maria.
だから二重で効果がある。
Huh.
本当だ。
Huh. Ooh, god damn it.
サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
I really wanted to make fun of those worthless-looking charms, but as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize from some game center. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings. Even I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that.
そっか。ありがとな。ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一たたりがある時でも、マリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。な、ジェシカ。
ああ、そうだぜ。ありがとうな、マリア。
心に平安が欲しいときは腕につける。
Wear it on your arm when you want your heart to be at peace.
お財布に入れるとお金が減らなくなる。ドアノブにかけておくと悪いものが入ってこられなくなる。便利なお守り。
Huh.
それはすごい効能ですね。 マリア様が自信を持って進めるお守りなら、きっと頼もしいものと思います。
Shannon-chan clapped her hands together and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time, George, Aniki, and Shannon-chan would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker. We cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after years of separation.
Oh. 今、額にポタって来なかったかい?
Oh.
どうだろうな。
As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
マリアポタッと来ない。マリアだけ来ない。
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。それに今夜になれば誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
Probably.
そうだね。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかな。
Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now.
もう仕事に戻る時間かよ。
はい。皆様と一緒でありがとうございました。
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job, but picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. Oh yeah, duh. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
ゴミが逃げる。
そいつは逃がさないぜ。マリアより先にいただきだ。
マリアが拾う。
マリア、靴を濡らすなよ。怒られるぜ。
To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful wind was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
Well, at least these guys are kind enough to actually help out.
また
They could
後でね。
it could easily be bad, and they could have easily just ended up like, spoiled rich people, but they don't seem like they're the spoiled, kind. They seem like they've got good heads on their shoulders, I think.
お仕事、頑張ってね。
Despite the fact that Battler is a bit of a pervert.
それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden.
じゃあ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。テレビでも見て、くつろがせてもらうさい。
テレビ見る。
なら決まりだな。戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see those beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
花はいつか必ず散る。でも、だからこそ、咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
What about Maria's rose?
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が、今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
目に焼き付ける。
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she'd remembered something.
マリアのバラ、
That's what I was getting ready to bring up.
台風で飛ばされちゃう。
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらった。あの元気のないバラか？
Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな？
It should be marked with a ribbon.
確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. There should be a ribbon wrapped around it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot.
なんだよ、どうした？
マリアのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して探して。
Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at that spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality, it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said we were going to search elsewhere. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search through that rose thicket.
ない。
Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but it isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated.
マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。
Come on, you can't call a rose pointless. Roses are very pretty. Wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't Goda say that there was rose petals added to the meal that they had? I hope I'm wrong, but did he take the petals of Maria's rose and use that? I really, really hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら。どうしたのみんな。何か探し物なの？探して！ママもマリアのバラを探して！マリアのバラって？
この辺に元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。
Oh, it was a candy wrapper. I thought it was a ribbon.
しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃ、すぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ、他の場所だったと思うぜ。
It'd be kind of weird if it did grow legs. This ain't Undertale. What the hell?
マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか？
Salutations, I'm Rosie the Rose. Nah.
ここなの！ここなの！パトラが信じてくれない！その言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの？ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
I've never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure that it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。
Did you mistake this place for somewhere else?
これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。
違うの。ここにあるの。ママも信じてくれない。
What is that slapping noise?
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。
But it is here.
ここにあるのにないの。
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ。とにかくその言うのやめなさい。
マリアのバラ抜いたの誰？返して返して。
The only person that I could think of would have to be Goda.
そんなの知らないわよ。やめなさい。その言うのやめなさい。
Good lord, Rosa. Oh! Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder.
Mariaのバラ！マリアのバラ！
その変な口癖をやめなさいって言ってるでしょ。だからクラスの子たちにもバカにされるんでしょうが。いい加減にしなさい。
Once again, her palm slapped Maria. What the heck? Maria's cheek. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up.
ローザおばさん。まあまあ、小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together. But Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this.
ごめんね。バトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる。おばさんはマリアとちょっと話があるの。
誰もマリアのバラを信じてくれない。ここにあったのに。探してここなの。ここにあったの。
でもないじゃない。なら他の場所の勘違いでしょ。
ここなの。
I'm convinced. I think Goda did it.
絶対にここなの。
That's the only thing I can think of.
じゃあなくなっちゃったのよ。諦めなさい。
どうしてマリアのバラがなくなっちゃうの。どうして
知らないわよ、そんなの。だからその言うのをやめなさい。
Good lord! Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. That's not helping! It was strong enough to knock Maria over.
ローザおばさん。いくら娘でも、暴力はいけねっすよ。
Exactly! I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying. I knew that, as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないの？あなたの学校になってる女の子なんている？
いや、まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないっすか。
可愛い？言うのが可愛い？
I kind of thought it was cute.
可愛いって？
My careless words seemed to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる？ 9 歳よ。小学4年生なのよ。幼稚園児じゃないのよ。それなのにまだクラスでうう言ってるのよ。わかる？この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？この変な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。だからその言うのをやめなさい。やめろって言ってんでしょ。
Jesus! Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was What the I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki.
昔は、ローザおばさんも、マリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを、最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
別に、どういう言葉遣いをしようと、関係ねえだろ。
Honestly, it wouldn't bother me.
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。
Oh.
だから、見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれど、これは、おばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
まあ、私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ。
When they put it that way, maybe even a scene as painful as this isn't something an outsider like me should butt in on.
バトラ君だって、小さい頃、悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
Yeah, I had a few bad habits.
まあ、
Granted, I got rid of them.
一つや二つは。授業参観の日に、人前でずっと怒られてた時は、恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
じゃあ、今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。僕たちに、ここにいてほしいとは思わ、ジェシカちゃんにもわかるよね。
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてえとは思わないぜ。
行こう。ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。そして、マリアちゃんが戻って何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげようよ。それが、一番じゃないかい。
We thought George Aniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that unreasonable-sounding argument as a justification to retreat from this heart-rending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Aniki and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
探す！マリアが一人で探す！
Even if Mama doesn't care.
勝手にしなさい！
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. It is not a good idea to leave a little girl out there. There's this fucking storm coming. You're a terrible parent. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continuing slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place, not until she found that poor wilting rose. It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. now it's raining. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of the rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die.
遅かったではないか、ベアトリーチェ。
Uh-oh. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze.
さあ、始めようではないか。私とお前の奇跡の宴を。今こそ、この島は現世より切り離された。もう誰も私の儀式の邪魔をすることはできぬ。お前にふさわしい生贄は十分にあるぞ。息子たちが4人、その伴侶が3人、孫たちが4人、私に、客に、使用人たち。どれでも好きなだけ食らうがいい。
Good Lord.
運命の鍵は悪魔のルーレットに従い生贄を選ぶであろう。そのルーレットが私を選ぶならば、私すらもお前の生贄となろう。だからこそなのだ。それだけの狂気をかけるからこそ、私は必ずや偉大な奇跡を起こすだろう。さあ、好きなだけ食らうがいい。私はそのルーレットに打ち勝つだろう。さあ、すべてを落すぞ。まずは後ろ宮家の家督を返そう。受け取るがいい。
I have a feeling shit is really getting ready to... Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off of his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring.
そして、お前が蘇った時、そこにいるのは私であるだろう。私が最後まで生き残り、お前の目覚めを見守るだろう。さあ来たれ、ベアトリーチェ。ようこそ我が宴。私が生み出した全てと引き換えに、私にもう一度だけ奇跡を見せておくれ。おー、ベアトリーチェ。
Oh! "6 p.m. I'm guessing 6 p.m. Okay, this was a relatively shorter segment, but I have a feeling shit's really gonna go down. Okay, so save real quick. I'm gonna check something actually. Has anything changed? So a lot of this stuff seems like pretty much the same. I don't see anything that looks different. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the episode there. Because I feel like shit's gonna go down. And It's gonna get a lot longer, I think. So this supposedly, according to Kinzo, this storm essentially is separating these people from the outside world. Well, obviously, the first thing I'm just genuinely worried about is Maria being out in this storm. Second, I knew something was off about how there was apparently, I think, what did it say, rose petals inside that sort of meal that Goda had prepared. Something about that didn't set well with me. So, I don't know if I'm right. I'm probably wrong. Part of me wants to say that Goda used the wilted rose petals as for the dessert. Part of me wants to say that, because it seems to line up just a little bit. Then again, I could be wrong. Third, the gold ring. I may be reading too much into this again, but that gold ring that Kinzo threw out. He said he will offer his inheritance, and then he threw the gold ring out. It specified that it was a gold ring. Now, I don't think it's clearly not possible for 10, what is it, 100 metric, fuck, I don't know how many times, I freaking know it was, to make it into a single ring. I doubt that. And I don't think he could have turned his inheritance into a single gold ring either. So... oh, and thusly, Aunt Rosa needs to calm the fuck down. Just gonna say that. Those are the only things I can really think of at the moment. Besides the fact of Kinzo clearly willing to sacrifice his entire family and even his servants specifically to bring back this Beatrice. Or Beatrice! I don't know. This Beatrice person. I've literally got nothing else I can think of. That's pretty much all I got. So... well, I guess that's where I'm going to leave it. Let's see details. Monday. That is when my Elgato is supposed to come in. So, excited for that. Not sure what kind of PS4 games I'm finally going to be able to do Let's Plays of, but again, I'm still trying to compile a good list. That way I can make a video and you guys put which ones you want me to do in the comments. You know? So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.